Well, good afternoon. This is Wayne Albright, and I'm getting back to my channel of Let's Discuss Weather. And I know it's been a while since last January, but I plan on starting this back up in some form. Haven't really decided the frequency of these, whether it will be storm generated or whether it will be once or twice a week to highlight weather coming up. But I thought since it was the holiday tomorrow, Thanksgiving, I would put out something brief today to cover the holiday period and into December. So let's get started. And we have a warm afternoon in the mid-Atlantic as we see temperatures highlighted in the 60s all the way up into Maryland, southern New Jersey. Nice area of 60s and low 70s. There's a warm front or a stationary front near the Mason-Dixon line with a weak low in the panhandle of Maryland. And north of there, it's clammy and not as warm, and some showers. A little enhanced area here, southeast of Harrisburg, moving to the east, but generally void of precipitation to the south as south-southwest winds have kicked in and cleared the rain that happened overnight offshore. To the northwest and west of the mountains, it is colder behind this second front that will be arriving after the first front this evening with little fanfare for most areas except far north into Pennsylvania. The second front will arrive later tonight and bring in colder weather. It's in the 30s and 40s, low 40s out here with a lot of clouds and a gusty wind. And that colder air will come in beginning on Thanksgiving, and it looks like a colder period stretching into next week. The radar this afternoon shows low pressure swirling in the Great Lakes. There is some snow, and with that low in the Great Lakes, it looks like the snow is starting to win out over the rain over Michigan, and some showers farther to the southeast. General area going through central Pennsylvania right now and into New England, and the bulk of the rain near the coast is offshore, and that will continue to be the case. There will be few, if any, showers from Virginia south into North Carolina this evening, so travel looks good in that part, and minimal showers to the north from Washington, D.C. up into New England and places like that. So a generally good weather evening for travel as people head to family and friend destinations this evening for the holiday. As we go forward, we can see that this is where we are this afternoon with our low in the Great Lakes. There is one front coming through the central part just east of the mountains, and a second reinforcing shot of cold air coming through the Ohio Valley toward the mountains. And in the next couple of hours, that first front will exit the coast, and the second front will arrive later tonight. Bulk of the precipitation with this low will generally be from the lakes up into the St. Lawrence River Valley, and even New England gets spared most of the rain by later tonight, or most of the precipitation. And then for Thanksgiving, it looks like a dry, colder day as high pressure stretches from the northern plains toward the mid-Atlantic region with low pressure circulating just north of New England. And there will be a chilly wind from the Great Lakes into the mid-Atlantic and northeast, and some lake effect snow showers and some snow with the low up in eastern Canada, but most places in the mid-Atlantic into New England will just be dry and cold on Thanksgiving. And the high gradually builds in. And we look at Friday, high still west of the area, so there'll still be a bit of a breeze on Friday, and it will be cold. Not terribly cold, but it will be probably the coldest air we've had thus far. And the chill will be added with the west-northwest winds. The lake effect machine will shift a little east and primarily be off of Lake Erie in Ontario, up in New York State, northwestern Pennsylvania, going into the weekend. And the high settles over for a very cold night, Saturday or Friday night, with many lows down in the mid and upper 20s, except at the coast. And Saturday starts out nice, but cold, and dry, and then some clouds may arrive later in the day as we head into the night as high pressure shifts east and the next storm system heads out of the Central Plains and tracks. Whoops, I don't know what that did. Oh, sounding. Okay, I need to put my thing on here. Tracks from here in the Central Plains and eventually in this direction into Monday, as we can see, and it will drag the bulk of the precipitation to the northeast. How do I get rid of this? I've got to close it. Okay, so as we can see, going into Sunday, pretty good little area of snow from Illinois, northern Illinois into Michigan. Whether that gets in there in time for the Ohio State-Michigan game on Saturday afternoon is in question, but it's certainly going to be cold for the game. And low pressure continues to march right along the St. Lawrence River Valley on Sunday, and it drags some precipitation to the east of the mountains in the form of some showers. There might be some snow or mix in the mountains in Pennsylvania into New York State, and the better snow would be farther to the north. So some showers come east to west late Sunday evening, and then that front exits off the coast into Monday. But there is a trend toward a little milder weather on Sunday. So we start the weekend cold on Saturday, and especially I-95 on east, maybe as far north as New Jersey, it gets milder and temperatures recover a little closer to normal. While inland it will struggle a little bit. There might be a little bit of cold air damming that is hard to get rid of west of the I-95 corridor, especially in the higher terrain from western Virginia up into Pennsylvania. And then that front exits, and Monday looks dry, a little colder than normal. We start to watch the Western Gulf and a system coming out of the Central Plains, and they gather together, and there's already been talk on social media about potential wintry weather by Tuesday into Wednesday of next week. This is the Europeans' depiction of a weak low exiting the coast. Not much wintry precipitation as that goes by. But if we compare the GFS with the same time, we see a different scenario where the GFS is a little stronger with the low and a little more area of wintry precipitation. So if we go back a little bit, there's the European Tuesday night or Monday night, early Tuesday, and here's the GFS with a little more wintry precipitation, a little bit of a stronger low exiting off the southeast. And as we head a little farther into Tuesday morning, that's the European by midday Tuesday, and that's the GFS. Let's go back to morning time on Tuesday. That's Tuesday morning to start the day, and wintry precipitation spreads from the mountains of West Virginia and northwest Virginia up into Pennsylvania's, and something to watch as we head into Tuesday for wintry precipitation. And then that system gradually exits by Tuesday night and into Wednesday, and dry weather returns for Wednesday into Thursday. So there is a period in the middle of next week, later Tuesday, especially Tuesday night into Wednesday, that we have to watch. Well, it's during the day Tuesday into Tuesday night. So depending on how this trends, I remember last week it was looking like a southeast ridge and balmy weather to start December, and things have changed, and I will get into that in a few minutes. So a definite trend toward colder starting tomorrow. We'll feel it really tomorrow and lasting well into next week and possibly beyond. If we look at, and I like to use these teleconnections, I've mentioned them many times in the past, and indices. So if we look at stuff like that, the NAO, North Atlantic Oscillation, PNA, Pacific North American Oscillation, are showing a bump toward the positive for the NAO about right now, and we've had mild weather, but there's a definite period of negative NAO, and that's usually signaling a possible colder period. This model is forecasting it to be rather brief, I'm not sure that's correct, but it's showing it rather brief. The PNA does show a little bit of a bump to the positive or toward the positive at the same period that this is turning negative. And when those two things happen, colder weather is usually to follow or to occur in the eastern part of the United States, especially the Great Lakes, Northeast, and Mid-Atlantic. Then we look at the MJO. That's another common thing that meteorologists use, and especially I look at it especially in the wintertime, but I do use it in the summertime. And it's in phase 6 right now, heading toward phase 7, and then it gradually diminishes toward phase 8 toward the middle of December. And what that does is, in November, 6 is mild, which is what we've had, and 7, we're still mild, but it's trending towards 8, and then December brings in colder and even colder. So if it would really intensify going into 8 toward the second week of December, it might actually be cold or colder after not this weekend, but next weekend into December. So it's something to keep an eye on as this is trending in that direction from 6 to phase 8. Now, whether it gets into the real bonus spots for wintry weather as we head into winter, 1, 2, and into 3, that's still too early to tell. But generally, it looks like December is going to start out colder than normal from the lakes and probably Midwest, Mid-Atlantic, portions of the Southeast, and New England, and last probably into the middle of the month. And whether that breaks a little bit toward the holiday of Christmas and New Year's, we'll have to keep an eye on that trend. There is some guidance that suggests that, but that's way out there at this point. We are definitely in a weak La Nina right now, the cold waters of the Pacific, Central and Eastern Pacific. And so whether that hangs on for the winter will have significant impacts as we go further into winter. But there are some signs that may diminish toward the end of the winter and into spring, and maybe toward an El Nino. But that's way far down the line. I'm more concentrating on what's happening now. So anyway, let's look at the trends. Here's Saturday's highs, generally 30s into the 40s, cold, 10 to 15 degrees below normal. It does moderate a little bit on Sunday, like I said, a little closer to normal, especially at the coast. Not quite as cold on Sunday inland. And then another batch of cold air comes in for early next week, Monday into Tuesday, and whether we have a storm or not, or at least a minor winter precipitation event, and that would favor the northern sections, like I said, from the northwest in Virginia, the mountains of West Virginia, up into Pennsylvania and portions of the Northeast. Whether that takes place, like I said, there are conflicts in the models that are going on right now in degree of intensity and how much moisture there actually is. So in recap, we're going to go recap here. Like I said, I'm going to keep it short. Thanksgiving Day is colder, dry, and a bit breezy. It won't be in the 60s and 70s where it is now, and I had the shorts on today. I won't need the shorts tomorrow, and I'll probably put them away for a while here in Virginia. And definitely colder everywhere. And Friday and Saturday, cold and dry. There'll be a breeze still on Friday that will create a wind chill that will probably average 5 to 15 degrees below what the temperature is during the day, and despite sunshine, and highs mid-30s north and upper 40s southeast. Coldest night looks to be on Friday night with 25 to 30 inland and 30s at the coast. Saturday, mid-30s north to mid-40s south for highs. And then Sunday, the cold front approaches from the west, arrives late in the day, and exits the coast Sunday night with possible showers. And it will be a little milder at the coast Sunday afternoon. Oh, just about everywhere, but really noticeable or closer to normal on Sunday toward the coast, I-95 on east up into southern New Jersey. So, and then we go farther. Monday through Wednesday, some snow showers with the cold air on Monday, typical over the mountains of West Virginia and Pennsylvania, maybe some lake effect up toward the Great Lakes. Otherwise, it should be partly to mostly sunny and cold. Highs in the 30s to low 40s north and the 40s south. And we'll watch Tuesday with increasing cloudiness, wintry mischief by late Tuesday. I should have put that late Tuesday into early Wednesday or into Wednesday, especially northern Virginia to the northeast. And even farther out, it looks like a conflict in the models still, but it's generally looking like into the middle of December. Cold weather prevails, at least colder than normal. The degree of cold will depend on how the pattern sets up. There are signs that it might get a little more extreme in the cold as we head into middle of December, depending on the MJO and how the teleconnection set up. But some of the guidance and some of the model trends are that it isn't quite as cold, but it's still below normal. So it's something to keep an eye on, but I don't see any balmy Decembers coming. And we've had some recently, but this does not look like that, at least the first half of it, going forward. So anyway, these are the sources that I use, at least some of them. And I have my meter here for the outlook Tuesday into Wednesday. We'll just keep watching it. There's some concern for the first potentially widespread, at least light wintry precipitation event, and that would favor away from the big cities and up into portions of New England, the mountains, and down into West Virginia and northwest Virginia. So it's something to keep an eye on, and I will certainly do that going forward. And if there's something over the weekend, I may jump on and highlight it. But again, I'm trying to get this going again, and whether I do it by storm or whether there's something significant or whether I do it a couple times a week, I haven't really decided yet. I enjoy doing them, but we'll see how the time is, and with the busy holidays coming, we'll see how that goes. So, for ending this, everybody have a happy Thanksgiving with family and friends. And don't eat too much, and try to relax, and safe travels later today and over the holiday weekend, and especially on travel day on Sunday. Sunday doesn't look too bad in most areas as far as wintry precipitation outside the lakes and maybe the mountains later in the day with some snow showers. Primarily showers of rain variety don't arrive until Sunday afternoon or evening, so most of the day shouldn't be too bad on the primary interstates east of the mountains for travel. And that's about it. And I hope you have a great holiday, and I'll see you next time.